Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to showcase how you can be successful even if your team is not playing the strategic position and how you should adapt to a weak team. If you're interested in more reviews and gameplay, go to YouTube and search for World of Tanks with Bruce to get all of my videos, or click on the subscribe button. And now, let's go! I already made a video about stupid teams in World of Tanks, which you can find right here. Today I want to show you what you can do if your team does not play as it is supposed to. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody is free to play how he wants to, but the problem is on most of the maps there are definitely strategic positions, as I call them, and not trying to win those positions will most likely lead to losing the game. So in such a situation, the best you can do is to maximize your result. So let me show you how this works. Alright. First game, we are spawning on Malinovka in the VK4502 Alpha in a tier 8 and tier 7 matchup. So we are top tier. And let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Malinovka in the north with the heavy tank. In my opinion, there are not too many options. I even think there's only one option, and that is to proceed to the hill and help to win this hill. Because this is the most important position in my opinion, and from the hill you can then push down towards the enemy base. Now in my opinion there's no other valid option for a heavy tank, just because you are a heavy tank and you will be spotted on this open map. So that is a very one-dimensional gameplay. Now the good thing about the northern spawn is you do not necessarily win the hill, because you have a superb defensive position in this forest. So even if you lose the hill, then you can set up a defensive position here. However, you should go to the hill and help to win the hill, because if you win the hill, it is super easy to then proceed to the enemy base. Alright, so we will definitely go on top of the hill. And I mean, little spoiler right here, I would not have chosen this title if everything would go as it was supposed to. So just take a look at the minimap and see what happens. Meanwhile, we are trying to go on top of the hill and try to win the hill against two Skoda T56s, probably the best tier 8 heavies, or at least one of the best tier 8 heavies nowadays in World of Tanks, alongside with a T832, a hull down monster with good armor, against an AMBT, relatively nicely armored medium tank with an autoloader gun, and then some more low tier tanks. And as you can see, only a Skoda T56 and a King Tiger, so a tier 7 tank, are following us to the hill. Plus we are certainly much weaker than a Skoda T56, plus the two Skoda T56s are in a platoon, so we definitely need the help of more heavy tanks of the IS-3, and then also most likely of top tier medium tanks like the CS-52 list, for example. But none of those tanks are following us on top of the hill, and so I take an early decision, and that is to play defensively and to set up this defensive position. Now the good thing about the northern spawn in Malinovka is you can relatively easily defend the adversary tanks once they are approaching the hill. Now take a look at the minimap and recognize that the LTG has already pushed into a very aggressive position. From this position he can spot the access of the onto the hill, which is another serious disadvantage of our team in this game. Now, none of our medium tanks, none of our light tanks are playing on the C5 position to counter this LTG, and so it was a wise decision to not rush the hill. And in my opinion, it is the correct gameplay. Now, I am trying to tell my team that we need a light tank or a medium tank at least to spot the incoming heavy tanks, which will most likely try to push our position. Meanwhile, our team is in serious trouble, and the position where the 3 and the Rheinmetall Borsig are situated get spotted by the LTG, because the LTG is in this position in the bush in the, what is it, sorry, the C6 or C5 position. So yes, this now is a very boring gameplay, but that is the only thing we could do. If we had pushed on top of the hill, we would certainly be out and back in the garage right now, because we wouldn't have no chance against the Skoda T56 platoon. So let's see how it goes. We will simply wait and try to defend this position. Here go, the LTG is spotted and we can get the first shot. Nice, we even get a track shot and get lovely 526 spotting damage, which is perfect. And the game so far is relatively close, which is nice. Now our team is making pressure, which is always a very poor idea. Our light tank has been taken out of the game, so he should certainly have moved over to our position in order to spot all the tanks, because he could have made tons of spotting damage with defending this position. I bet all my bucks that the Leo and the Super Hellcat and also the CS52 list will sooner or later be taken out, because advancing from the south is super risky and it sets you up in a super open field, and chances are that those tanks will not be able to outspot the defending tanks on the 8, 9 and 0 lane. Okay, so be it. You cannot change the gameplay of your teammates, but you can try to adapt to the stupid decisions of your teammate and to the team composition, and that is exactly what I want to show you in this game. Now, usually, as I said in my little map speech at the beginning of the game, the hill is super important. But if your team is not willing to play this strategic position, then you have to adapt and you have to change your game plan and to, in this case, set up a defensive position. So this is exactly what we are going to do, and we will simply wait for the adversary tanks to advance. Okay, looks like he is behind some cover. Now I need to make sure that the bushes in front of me are not transparent, so that I don't get spotted once I take a shot. This is super important in every tank, especially in a heavy tank with no camo whatsoever. Okay, so the light tank is spotted. Now can we take a shot onto him? He's out of view range. Nice. The gun of this tank is not too bad, and this is the shiny part of this tank. It's not a it's like in 2023 it's not a good per se gun. The alpha damage is lackluster for a tier 8 heavy tank. However, the gun is relatively precise and okay for a tier 8 heavy tank, but the rest of the tank is lackluster. So okay, let's see how it goes. Meanwhile, we are trying to defend this position. The enemy E25 is making, and that's yeah, so the Leo has already been taken out, and now the final seconds of the CS52 list are commencing. Okay, meanwhile the T832 is spotted. Nice, so we can take another shot. 1100 damage. We are playing super defensively, but I think this is the correct gameplay in this kind of situation. Let's see. Okay, here the Skoda T56 is making pressure, and now we are loading premium shells in order to consistently penetrate at least the weak spot of those tanks. Here you go, another shot. Nice. And now I think it is time to fall back, because the Skoda T56 is pushing in aggressively. Maybe we can take one more shot. No, he's taken out. Excellent. And so yeah, so the Skoda T56 of our team should have fallen back earlier. Nice. Now let's take another shot, and I think, yeah, nice, we can take him out. So the top tier platoon has been taken out. Excellent. Now there's only a T832. Keep in mind the E25 is spotted down at the southern portion of the map, and the CS52 was able to take him out. Nice. Actually, the IS-3 was able to take him out. The ISU 152K is most likely at the back of the map, so there's only the T832 in the given position, plus the AMBT. And then the question is where the Super Hellcat is located, but I think now it is actually time to play a bit more offensively and to see what is going on. Okay, the T832 is once again spotted. Nice, losing HP and is taken out. Excellent. So yeah, perfect. So I think it was the perfectly right decision to play defensively. Now we get flamed in the chat, but I think, yeah, I mean, some players are unable to adapt their gameplay, but this is not my mistake, obviously. And I'm making those videos to explain what I'm doing and why I am not playing the map as I want to play it. And hopefully you can not be like the Type 62 player, but more like I play and more adapt to the situation and take the best out of the game for your team. Okay, so we have not lost a single HP, and so it is now time for us to make pressure. Now, notice how I want to go into the bush in order to spot the other side and then instantaneously reverse, because if there's another tank in the bush, then I will get spotted because I am a heavy tank and my armor, oh no, sorry, not my armor, but my camo value is lackluster, and so every other tank will spot me, will outspot me, even if I am behind cover. So that's why I'm doing this. Now I want to play more aggressively because our team is on the winning side now, and maybe I can get more damage and even spotting damage in this tank. So let's see how it goes. Now I want to go to and instantaneously push into a very central position. So this is why I go here, because now it is time for me to make pressure. Once again, I've not lost a single HP so far. Okay, so can we get a shot onto the AMBT? Let's see. Now you always want to fully aim in your shots. Excellent. And then you always, or not you always, but you will most likely hit your shots if you're fully aimed in. Here goes, second shot. Nice. Another critical damage. And this helps out our teammate, the CS52 Liz. Here you go. Yeah, we are now spotted, but that is not a problem at all. And you know what? I think I should simply move forward now. Here you go. Can we get another shot? Maybe if we fully aim in. Nice. Another 312 damage and maybe another shot onto the adversary arty. Let's see. Here you go. We can even take out this tank. So yeah, excellent. So in the end, we made 3,300 damage and about 700 assisting damage. And I think key to success in this game was that we took a look at the minimap, saw what was going on and adapted to the play style of our team. And that is what I want to show you in this video. In my opinion, it is a key message for all of you out there playing World of Tanks. You are not on your own. It's a team game. And even though your team is not playing as you hope, as you wish, I mean, you cannot change anything about it. But what you can change is you can change your playstyle and your positioning on the map, and you always have to look at the minimap and see what's going on and then adapt your gameplay accordingly. Alright, so we were pretty lucky doing this in the first game, and so let's now go into the second game and see another example of, let's say, a stupid team not playing the strategic position. Okay, second game. This time we are spawning in a tier 8 match with the Scorpion on Halluf. And let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Halluf in the north with the tank destroyer. This is how the game usually develops. And you have several options. You can go somewhere like here and basically conduct the standard tank destroyer sniping gameplay. You can also go here and do the same, to counter maybe those tanks. But with the tank destroyer, obviously you can also go here and brawl against the enemy heavy and medium tanks, or at least conduct second line gameplay and try to help your team. And that all depends on the tank destroyer you are playing. Alright, so if you have watched my video about this Scorpion, then you know that I play this tank much more aggressively than, let's say, the average DD player. Why? Well, because this tank offers a pretty decent combination of mobility and firepower despite having no armor. So I think the mobility allows me to rush into position and to get a first shot onto slower adversary tanks and to catch them by surprise. And that is exactly what I want to do. So I want to go to the B3 position and take a first shot onto tanks which are trying to rush the A1 position. So that is my goal, and I think this tank has enough mobility plus enough gun depression to do so and to arrive in this position first. Now take a look and see what is going on the minimap. The Carnarvon, one of the Carnarvons, and by the way, the Carnarvon is a hull down monster, most likely the strongest tier 8 heavy tank, at least when it comes to the tech tree tanks. But one Carnarvon is sitting in the base. The IS-3, also a decent tier 8 heavy tank, is also sitting on a TD position in the base, and the other Carnarvon has already fallen back. So the only tank here is the TS-54, and now it is certainly time to understand what is going on and to fall back into a much more defensive position. We will not be able to hold the enemy advance with only 2 tanks in this position. So I'm telling the TS-54 to also fall back. Unfortunately, he decides to stay in this position. I think he will very soon regret this decision. And now we want to go into a position from which we can support the TS-54 and get a line of fire onto the approaching tanks. Now it looks like the Carnarvon player has no clue whatsoever. Now my tip for those new players is don't play high tier too early. Play low tier, maybe play mid tier, go to tier 5, tier 6 at best, and try to learn the maps and learn the gameplay and learn the mechanics. Watch my videos and get better at playing World of Tanks, and thereafter proceed to high tier. That is my tip for those new players. Anyway, let's focus back on the game. So from this position, we are out of spotting range for the adversary team and for the adversary tanks. And now let's see. Okay, that was very unfortunate that we missed this shot right here, but the DPM of the Scorpion is actually not too bad. So let's see, can we get another shot? And bam, yes, the first damage in the game for us, 529, and due to the superior DPM, even if the TS-54 is taken out, we can get another shot. Nice. Luckily the TS-54 is falling back and making a good job of holding up this push, so we can even take out this IS. Nice, but now he will certainly be taken out. The adversary team is pushing aggressively, and now we have to even fall back further, and there's a superb defensive position right at the B0 position, and that is exactly where we want to position ourselves, because sooner or later the enemy team will push the Carnarvon and will take him out, and then we'll try to push our base, and from this position we can easily defend the base. Actually, in my opinion, Halluf is a little bit unbalanced, because you can much easier defend the northern base than compared to the southern base. Maybe you could argue that pushing the north is actually easier from the southern spawn than compared to the northern spawn, so that would kind of equal out this little drawback, but yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, so we will simply try to maintain in this defensive position and get some more shots. Go. It looks like the team is not yet advancing. You know what? Let's knock down this tree to have more cover. That is always a good idea. And it's always a good idea before the enemy team recognizes that you are in this position. Okay, so we are spotted, of course, but that is not a problem because we can fall back into cover. Now we simply have to wait 10 seconds until we are not spotted anymore, and then we can fall out back into the bush. Meanwhile, this bush gets blind fired, a thing that we need to take into our consideration. And here I chose to take out the tank despite being very low on HP. So I decided not to make the amount of damage that I can make with one shot. But in this situation, if you're defending let's say your base, then it makes sense to take out as many adversary guns that you can, so to have a greater chance of winning the game and turning around the game. So this is why I took this situation. Take a look at our statistics. So now we already made above 3k damage and above 1k assisting damage, simply because we adapted our playstyle and our gameplay to what was going on in the game. Now, do I think that the decision making of our team was correct and was smart? No, absolutely not. Once again, a very stupid team. However, what I want to teach you and tell you is, take a look at the minimap, try to play the important position, but if your team is unwilling to fight for the strategic position, then adapt your playstyle and your gameplay and fall back and react to this situation. That is extremely important if you want to be successful in World of Tanks. Okay, so let me see, can I go into this bush with not getting spotted? This is the question. So let's see. Okay, no, I'm spotted, so I need to fall back instantaneously. Unfortunately, I take a shot, but luckily only one shot. Meanwhile, the match has actually turned around 9-7, and so I think I will simply fall back into the previous bush, because this bush is much better, and from this bush we can instantaneously fall back into cover. So let's see how it goes. Now I think we need to get rid of the 703 too, and also the... Here you go. Okay, unfortunately the shot doesn't hit where I was aiming. We are spotted, but we can fall back into cover, so no problem whatsoever. And let's see how it goes. Okay, this tank is advancing, so we should be fully aimed in once he advances. Nice. And okay, the other TD most likely, yep, spots us. It was not the 703 because we had two bushes between us and this tank, so most likely the WZ111 spotted us. And I think our team will take out the 703, but we have to try and take out the WZ. And I think after this tank is taken out, we can then finally advance to the remaining tanks. Okay. He's down to being one-shottable. Nice. And so maybe if we fully aim in. Okay. This was not enough to... Okay. Okay, so let's see. Maybe we can now take him out. Let's see. Let's fully aim in with a little bit of luck. And... Okay. Unfortunately, not the case. That is not a problem. And... Maybe... Okay, no, he takes a shot, which is fine. And we can take him out. Okay, perfect. So we made 4.3k damage, 1.3k assisting damage, and we turned around. We could help our team to turn around the game. We could get an excellent result in the Scorpion simply because we adapted to the situation and we saw what was going on the minimap and took early decisions in order to react onto the decision making of our team. And I think that is what you should certainly do in every game if your team is not behaving as it is supposed to. Alright, we will not get any more damage from the Rheinmetall Borsig, and so let's simply jump into the last game. Alright, last game. This time we are spawning once again in the VK4502 Alpha in a tier 9 matchup, so we are mid here in this game. And let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Cliff in the south with the heavy tank, there are several options. The first one is to go here and brawl against the adversary heavy tanks. And I do not think that this is the best gameplay. However, there should definitely be one or two tanks conducting this this gameplay, because otherwise you leave this 1 and 2 lane to the adversary team. Now, I prefer to go to the middle because I think the middle is the most important position on the map. Plus, you have several options from here, and you are flexible because you can not only maybe later on in the game proceed down here, but also defend this portion of the map if it is not played by either team. You can also go here and help your team to win this portion, because once you manage to win this position, then you can basically you have a crossfire option to those tanks, and then this area here becomes super difficult to play for the adversary team. So yeah, I like to go to the middle and then I see what is going on in the game. Okay, so as you know, I consider this tank as being lackluster even on tier 8, so it kind of feels as being in a low tier scenario. Tanks like the Centurion 7-1, even the T-54, the Skoda T-50, the 7032 Renegade, and even the Tiger 2 and the T-26E5, all those tanks are superior compared to my tank. And but nonetheless, I want to go to the middle and see how I can basically support my team. And yeah, once again, this video is about let's say stupid decision making by your team. So as you can see, some tanks are proceeding to the middle, however none of our tanks is actually proceeding to the north. And the problem is, okay, I want to get rid of this lightning. Now fall back, please, lightning, fall back, and don't hinder me to shoot the light tank once he is approaching the hill. Now the problem is, as you can see, there's none of our tanks is playing on the 9 lane, and so chances are, okay, the light tank has been taken out. Chances are that for example, the T-54, which is not spotted yet, will push the 9 lane, and the problem is that this tank will be able to get side shots onto us, and so I'm basically stuck in this position. I do not want to advance further, and I simply want to play defensively in this position. Now the Caliban is actually moving forward, and meanwhile our team in the south is doing stupid things. The Löwe is pushing to this position. Now I'm not saying the position where the Löwe is pushing is not important. It's actually a super important position. However, you should push there with a fast tank with high firepower. So for example with the Shah Future 4, but certainly not with the Löwe. And looks like he has at least lost some of its HP. Now the E50 is now pushing in this position, most likely spotted and also losing HP, and I'm simply waiting until the tanks of the enemy team are pushing the northern side. Now looks like, okay, here you go, nice, that's what I want to see. I want to see a tier 7 tank turning the turret to the side so I can shoot the side of this turret. That is exactly what I want to see. And the Tiger P does have quite some weak spots. For example, the side cheeks of his upper hull, plus obviously the side of his turret, and so I can make some nice damage and take him out. Fortunately, in this game, it looks like the enemy team is not playing the northern flank, or not the northern flank, but the 9 lane, and it's actually the eastern flank. So we are very lucky, and so we can play more aggressively and simply go, nice, take another shot onto those tanks, and we can fall back into cover in this wonderful position. Once again, if the team would play the we bounce the 9 lane, then we would have to turn our tank towards the G9 position and simply try to not get shot by those tanks. Okay, unfortunately we do not hit this shot. I think it's a stupid idea of the 703 to go on top of the hill. I know this tank has some gun depression and certainly superior armor, but it can be shot or take another fire from all the tanks playing at the donut, so the Löwe, the E50, and so I think he will soon regret that he pushed on top of the hill. Let's see, 7-4, so we are very lucky that our team could actually win the 1 lane, which is typically not the case. But once again, in this game we are reacting on, and we are adapting to what our team is doing and simply trying to make the best out of it. And so this is why we went into this position and why we stopped our advance, because we didn't want to put ourselves into crossfire to the adversary tanks, which we expected to push on the 9 lane, which they didn't. And now as they did not, and as we kind of reduced the tanks of the adversary team, and it's 8-4, so now it's time to finally push. The T26E5 has turned his turret towards the E50, and I think this will give us the chance of getting a shot onto the side of his tank. Now we have to pay attention to the WT. Go. We are not spotted. I'm trying to move backwards so that the Centurion 7-1 doesn't enter the proxy spotting circle of my tank. Okay, now the Patriot does. And should I move out of cover and take a shot and risk a shot from the WT on Panzer IV? Yes, now I should do, and bam, we can even track him. Nice. You should first of all always go for a track shot, and in this situation, if you notice that, for example, the Defender, the Su-130 PM or the Panther, or maybe the E50 would lose a substantial amount of HP, let's say talking about approximately 500 HP, then you know that the WT on Panzer IV has just taken a shot, and then you can use his reload time in order to move out of cover and take a shot, in this example, onto the Patriot, and you will not get shot by the tank destroyer because he is in reload. So that's what you can do in this in such a situation. Okay, the game becomes closer than I expected it. So you know what? As the adversary team is not playing the 9 lane, that is an option that we can do, because if those tanks in the middle, the Centurion 7-1 and the Patriot, are encircled by the E50 from this side, from the E3 position, plus from me on the, what is it, D9 position, then they have no chance whatsoever, and we can easily take them out, and that is what we want to do. And as the match is becoming pretty close, actually, we want to even take the long way. Yeah, okay. That's kind of resolved, but that's just how it is. So we do not need to go all the way down into the riverbed, but we can simply move forward and try to take those tanks out. 1800 damage, I think, is a decent result in a tank which I consider being low tier in this matchmaking. And I think we made everything right. We also, in this case, in this match, adapted to the gameplay of our team. And I think this is how you can play successfully, even in a low tier situation, even with a lackluster tank. So go. Oh, okay, I bounced this shot, which is super unfortunate. But he has to turn around, and I think he is now in serious pressure, and he can be taken out by the Centurion 7-1. Sorry, by the Defender. Excellent. So I think our team will cap, and will we get some more damage? Maybe we can spot one or another tank. Here go. Spotted by the Löwe. I think he will soon be taken out. And maybe we can take him out. Oh, no, he's hiding. Okay, he's taken out, and I think we will not get a shot onto the 703-2, which is fine. But once again, I think another example on what you should do if your team is not playing as it was supposed to. So overall, my recommendation for you is take a look at the minimap. Always try to fight for the strategic position on each map in order to help your team to win the match. But if your team is not playing as it is supposed to, playing completely different, then you simply have to change your gameplay and have to adapt to the situation. And if you do this, as you could see in those 3 examples, you can nonetheless be super successful and get decent results in World of Tanks. Alright guys, that was it for today with a little video about how to maximize your stats if you have to fight in a team which doesn't want to or is unable to play the important position on a map. What do you think about this topic? Do you agree that there are lots of players playing top tier tanks but who do not know how to play certain maps? Would you like to see some more map tutorials on this channel? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Consider subscribing to my channel, and I see you next time in another World of Tanks video.